For over 1,000 years, one culture ruled the entire Arctic, hunting whales with nothing but hand tools, surviving temperatures that would kill most people in hours. They're called the Dorset people, and around 1300 they completely vanished. Not absorbed, not assimilated. Gone. Replaced almost entirely by a different culture within just a few generations, and nobody fully agrees on what actually happened to them. The Dorset culture lived across the Arctic regions of what is now Canada and Greenland, from around 500 BC all the way until roughly 1300 AD. Almost 2,000 years of continuous survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. They hunted seals, walruses, and even large whales using simple harpoons and small boats, without metal tools, without the dog sleds later cultures would rely on. They built solid stone and sod houses, designed to trap what little heat the Arctic offered. Their art included detailed, almost eerily lifelike carvings of human and animal faces, some so expressive that modern researchers describe them as unsettling, even today. They thrived in conditions that would kill an unprepared person within hours. For over 1,000 years, they were the only people living successfully across most of the high Arctic. Then, starting around 1200 AD, a new group began arriving from the west. The ancestors of today's Inuit people, known to archaeologists as the Thule culture. They brought dog sleds, larger boats, and more efficient hunting technology. And within just a century or two, Dorset settlements across the Arctic simply stopped appearing in the archaeological record. An entire 2,000-year-old culture, gone in roughly the time it takes to build a single modern city. For a long time, the simple assumption was that the Thule simply absorbed the Dorset, intermarrying, blending cultures, the usual story of population replacement. But genetic research published in the last decade found something startling. There is almost no Dorset genetic material in modern Inuit populations, almost none. Despite living in the same region, doing similar work, for over a century of overlap, which means this wasn't really a gradual blending of two peoples. It looks much more like a population that was outcompeted, displaced, or simply died out entirely. Some researchers point to disease. The Thule may have carried illnesses the isolated Dorset had never been exposed to. Centuries of nearly total isolation may have left the Dorset with no immunity at all, similar to what happened to many isolated populations after first contact throughout history. Others point to direct competition for resources. The Thule's better hunting technology may have simply outcompeted Dorset survival methods. In an environment this harsh, even a small technological advantage could be the difference between survival and starvation. There's also evidence the Arctic climate itself was shifting during this exact period, a cooling event called the Little Ice Age, which may have made traditional Dorset hunting grounds even less reliable right as a more adaptable culture arrived. Most likely, it wasn't one single cause. Disease, competition, and climate change all converging on an already isolated, vulnerable population at the same time. There's something quietly tragic about how completely the Dorset disappeared. Inuit oral traditions across the Arctic do contain stories about a mysterious group that came before them, often described as unusually strong but shy, elusive, and ultimately gone. Some Inuit legends even describe encountering the remains of their dwellings, already abandoned, generations before recorded contact. A people remembered mostly through second-hand legend, rather than their own surviving voice. Their carvings remain the clearest physical evidence we have of who they actually were. Small, detailed, expressive faces, carved by hands that vanished from history almost 700 years ago. It's one of the clearest examples in human history of an entire successful culture being completely replaced, not gradually merged. A 2,000-year story ending almost completely in roughly one human lifetime. The Dorset survived the Arctic for nearly 2,000 years. Then within a few generations, they were simply gone. Remembered today mostly through legend and small carved faces in the snow. If you want more forgotten cultures uncovered and explained, subscribe. Next week, we look at a mysterious sound that thousands of people still hear today and nobody can find the source.